Hey, my name is Dr. Brendan McCarthy. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Protea Medical Center in Tempe, Arizona. Thank you so much for tuning in my podcast. It's a pleasure to be here. Always has been. Today we're going to get into menopause. I want to talk about menopause. Our last series we did was on PMS, so it's perfectly fitting that we go into now menopause. This is a nice, this is a lot of material in there that goes together. Because I don't see life as like, this is just this, and this is just this. It happens on a continuum. And it's important to understand that PMS will bleed into premenopause, into menopause. And there is overlap in these guys. And they do inform each other, and they do play a role long-term. To understand each one, the symptoms you're having in PMS play a role in your symptoms you're going to be having in premenopause and perimenopause and menopause. So it's important as a physician for us to know that. And it's important for me as a podcaster. It's important to me as a person who is here in this space to be of service, is to talk about it and explain it in that term. So today we're going to go into menopause. Before we get into it, I would like you to please, as always, if you're on YouTube, which is our primary platform, just scroll down and hit subscribe. If you're on your podcast, you're getting your podcast from some other place like Apple Podcasts or whatever it is, just subscribe. Just let us know that you like it. Press like. And if you think this is important enough for someone in your life that you care about, please share it. I'm here to be of service. With that said, let's get into the material. Menopause is a bit of a monster in medicine. And I'm saying that on purpose because it's been, we were starting to make such good progress in the late 1990s with women's medicine. The concepts there that we knew that we had to start treating women differently than men. Women are not little men. And we should do research only on women to understand women better. And it's time to start spending money on women. There was a beginning in that direction. We were going that direction. And then we had the Nurses' Health Initiative, and they made that mistake of equating synthetic hormones with bioidentical ones. And you saw a huge setback in women's health. That lasted 20 years. 20 years. The idea was that hormones were bad for you and that you shouldn't do hormones in menopause. And this dramatically affected your lives. So, coming in here and talking about menopause, I'm going to do my best to continue. What other people are out there, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of other people out there that post about this, that make videos on this. They're doing their best to help you navigate this time of your lives in a healthy way, because it can be done. It can be done. I'm hoping we do a good job with this with you. If not, as always, please, if you need more information, send me a little comment. Send me something saying, what about this? Or how about that? Because I'm always here. I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be good, which means I'm always open to getting better. With that said, let's get a little bit deeper into this explanation on what is menopause. The definition that was put out there by Ferry's Clinical Advisor, which is just a textbook for medicine. I always think it's important to bring this up because when you go to your doctor with menopause symptoms, any menopausal symptoms, you go to doctor, period. You want your doctor to see you. You want your doctor to see you. And seeing you means a few things. When you see a patient, when you really see a patient, when a patient presents to you and they're not well, when you see them, it's an act of empathy. You want to connect with them at a deeper level, and you want to see them for who they are and the struggles that they're in. That's part of it, yes. Another thing is that you see them because you understand them, what they're going through. So when a woman presents to my clinic with menopause symptoms, they're coming in, they're having, mood changes that don't make sense, emotional changes, traumatizing. In order to be a good physician, I need to see that and understand it. Not just understand it superficially, but understand it all the way down to my bones. So the woman who sits in front of me telling me her symptoms, I'm able to say, I get you. I understand this. We're all looking for that. When you're not well, you're looking for someone to see you and say, I get you. I understand this. This is what's happening. That's such a huge part of medicine. It's not always the slam dunk of what the treatment is and the cure, because that is important. Okay, that is important. But the onboarding of the person into your life and your care is your ability to see them essential. So This part that I'm bringing up here is important because if you're trained to be a physician and you know what menopause is just at this one level, when the woman comes to clinic and presents with symptoms, and you only know menopause at this place, and she's talking about symptoms that are here and you don't understand them, you don't really see them very well. You don't really get it. And the woman on the other end knows that. And your treatment protocols are going to be weak. They're not going to hit the mark. They're not going to do the right thing. So I'm going to share with you what the standard definition of menopause is. And I'm going to kind of go into some of the things that are missing in it. And I'm going to kind of go in more in depth with it. The definition of menopause, again, as Ferry's clinical advisor put out there, is the most common etiology is going to be the physiologic. It's caused by depleted granulosa and theca cells that fail to react to endogenous gonadotropins. That means they're producing less estrogen. They have decreased negative feedback in the hypothalamic pituitary axis, which causes increased follicle-stimulating hormone, increased luteinizing hormone, which leads to stromal cells that continue to produce androgens as a result of the LH stimulation. This is just what the definition is, but why this is important, you hear this, is because what do they talk about here? And first of all, when you heard me say that, how many of you felt like I encapsulated your experience of menopause? Absolutely none of you. None of you. None of you. Even if you're speaking geek speak, it's still not the best. This is not clear. Let me explain a little bit. What this means is that in menopause, you'll have diminished return from your ovaries. You don't make as much estrogen. Your brain does not like that. So your brain keeps sending signals down there say, I need more estrogen. It's not going to be heard. Those signals coming to the pituitary, one of them, luteinizing hormone, will cause some androgen secretion to occur. And that's it. So when you go to your doctor with menopause, they know the symptoms of menopause. Hot flashes, sweating, no libido, weight gain, insomnia, emotional instability. They know them. But all they're thinking is that you have less estrogen, you have more androgens. That's it. So when you go to see them, their approach will be based upon that. That's the problem. They're not really encompassing you completely. They're not seeing the whole of you. In here had nothing that explained why neurotransmitter synthesis will be off, the role estrogen plays in brain chemistry. Nothing in here says the role of estrogen when it comes to why you're having hot flashes, why you're sweating at night, why you'll have urinary tract infections, pain with intimacy, low libido, weight gain. It doesn't explain any of those things. Nothing. It just says that's what it is. This is why your treatments for menopause are so one note, one dimensional, and not really good. Because if they were good, I wouldn't be here in this podcast. I wouldn't be doing this. And no one would be watching my stuff because it's unnecessary because the therapies are so perfect. But they're not. So our goal with this, our next step now, with our next episode, is going to be go a little bit more into how to diagnose this, where this comes from, why this is happening in your body. And then from there, we're going to go to different ways and modalities of treatment. We should be able to do this in 3 episodes. We may do 4. We'll see. Sometimes this gets stretched out as I go into it. I realize there's more material. And I script it. I'll write this stuff out. I research it. I get all the material together. I'm good. And then I'll start talking about it. And I realize I go down a little bit of a rabbit hole explaining it. And I went a little bit low over time. So that's when we make it in a couple episodes. So anyway, with that said, your likes, your shares, and your subscribes mean a lot to us, but your comments are huge. It helps drive this content. So please, take the time. Let us know what you think. And that said, thank you. I'll see you at the next episode.